Jake is with us in St. Louis. Jake, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. Hey, Ken. How you doing?
Better than we deserve, brother. How can we help?
Had a quick question. So I've been teaching leading FPU, and I just finished financial coach master training.
Cool.
And I've been telling people for years about HELOCs and stuff that are just a credit card attached to your house.
Exactly.
But I had a quick question. My wife and I were walking the other day in our neighborhood, and one of our neighbors told us, "Hey, I was looking to move, but housing market's crazy, and my banker told me I have $70,000 of equity." So I don't know if he did a cash out refinance or whatever, but was doing, instead of buying a new home, he was upgrading his home. And I guess my question is what is the difference between doing that, as long as you're doing it to actually upgrade your home, and just buying a new home and financing all of that stuff already in the home?
Well, the biggest thing is these are repairs or updates you should have been doing all along. And so they don't come at you at $70,000 in one bill. And if you can do them $70,000 in one bill, you can do them in phases, and you can cash flow them. And then you don't need to add the debt. Obviously, you know from Coach Master Training that even with a mortgage, we're going to teach you to get out of the mortgage. So we don't want you every time you want a nicer home to move up in home or to renovate your home, either one. We want you to pay cash for doing either one of those things, because ultimately we want to end up being 100% debt-free. So I would reframe the approach and say, instead of let's figuring out a time that debt is okay, let's always figure out a way to avoid it. And just not even ask the question is my point. Your neighbor didn't ask you for coaching or me, but had they asked me for $70,000, I'm going to guess and say he probably could have cash flowed that in 24 months or maybe 36 months and done it in 3 projects, because it's probably not just one thing. And if it is a $70,000 single improvement, that's highly unusual. Highly unusual. Now, you could do a $200,000 addition to a property, and that would not be unusual. In that case, I just move, personally, in almost every case, and you hear me say that all the time. But even when you move, you're moving into a better property, you're going further into debt. Now you got to turn around and reverse the process again and start getting out of debt again. And so I'm always trying to figure out a way to stop the borrowing, not figuring out a way that it's okay. Under what conditions is the borrowing okay? Instead of going that way, it's always figure out a way to stop the borrowing. Because, see, what I did, Jake, as you know, is when I went broke, I vowed I never borrow money again. And so this is not an option for me. If I want to upgrade my house, I want to move up in house, I want to fix something in my house, there's only one method I can use, because I'm never going in debt again. There's only one method I can use. I have to pay cash. Nowadays, we got more zeros on some of our projects. We're building a conference center on top of the hill here, right above this building, that's about $40 million. We're about halfway through it, a little more than halfway through it. I'm at about 26 million in right now, and we got about a year left. So that tells me I got about $2 million a month to cash flow this puppy out the door. And we're watching it cash on cash, cash on cash, cash on cash. And I'm from Antioch, Tennessee. I don't know where you came from, guys, but that's a lot of money to me. That still freaks me out. You start talking about $2 million for something, you start talking about $2 million a month for something, that just blows my little country mind, I'll tell you. But that's what God has said we're able to do. We have the money. He's showing us to do it. We're doing it. And we're going to help a lot of people with that conference center, and that's a tool and what we're doing with it. It's not something I'm buying for personal consumption. So again, if I want a conference center, I got to rent one. I got to use something around here and stack chairs too high. Mm-hmm. We have to have cubicles that are 2 stories or something in here until we can afford to do a different building, a better building, because we just don't borrow money. We just took it. Anthony O'Neill used to say it well when he was here as a Ramsey personality. He said, you have to take debt off the table. I never said it that way before him, but it's a good way to remember. Just take debt off the table. So my point is, Jake, not is it okay? You're probably going to be okay. But we're not trying to get to okay. We're trying to quit borrowing money. That's the new framework on it. So how can we do this and not borrow money? Or maybe we don't do it at all if we can.